Scott Petrak. Shedeur Sanders looked great during practice for the Browns, but because he still has a lot to learn, I don't expect him to be the Week 1 starter. Scott Petrak joined Baskin and Phelps to share his takeaways from all of the Browns' off-season workouts. He talked about who stood out at minicamp and who he thinks still needs work. He also discussed the quarterbacks and explained why he doesn't expect Shedeur Sanders to win the starting job for Week 1. Scott Petrak stood under the hazy Ohio sun, scribbling notes into his weathered reporter's pad, his eyes fixed on the youngest quarterback to draw the attention of Cleveland's football faithful. Shedeur Sanders, with a crisp release, a confident presence in the huddle, and footwork that mirrored NFL veterans, Sanders dazzled in Browns minicamp. Still, Petrak wrote with the clarity and realism his years on the beat had taught him. Shedeur Sanders looked great during practice for the Browns, but because he still has a lot to learn, I don't expect him to be the Week 1 starter. That single sentence sent ripples across sports radio, Reddit threads, and local coffee shop conversations. Because while fans had seen their fair share of preseason hype, they also knew something special when they saw it, and Shedeur Sanders felt different. Chapter 1: Prime DNA. Shedeur's bloodline alone was enough to turn heads. The son of D and primetime Sanders, Shedeur carried a name woven into the fabric of sports legend. But from day one in Cleveland, he made it clear. He wasn't here to live in his father's shadow. He was here to cast his own. Minicamp started with cautious optimism. Analysts watched for the mechanics, coaches listened for leadership, and teammates waited to see if this was another hyped college star or the real deal. And by day 3, there was a growing sense in Berea that they had something special. His release. Quick, his command of the huddle, mature beyond his years, his eyes always scanning, always learning. He wasn't just making throws, he was making statements. Chapter 2. Mentored by Flacco. A few lockers down, Joe Flacco, the veteran Super Bowl MVP and elder statesman of the Browns QB room, watched with interest. At 40, Flacco was far removed from trying to win jobs. He was here to guide, steady the ship, and give Cleveland one more year of hope. But even Flacco had to admit to Petrak one afternoon during an off-the-record chat, "The kid's got that calm I had when I first got into this league, but he raids defenses like he's already been in it a year." Flacco took Sanders under his wing, offering knowledge, not just in coverages and cadences, but in something far more valuable: patience. "Don't rush it," he told Shedeur after one particularly sharp 7-on-7 session. "The lead will come for you soon enough. Make sure you're ready when you take that huddle. Don't just survive, command." Chapter 3. Stefanski's Dilemma. Kevin Stefanski, the ever-measured Browns head coach, found himself in an all-too-familiar place, a quarterback conundrum. On one side, he had the experienced Flacco. On the other, the promising Dylan Gabriel, scrappy, mobile, a Stefanski type. And now, Shedeur, the X-factor with the high ceiling, the media buzz, and the trust of the locker room. "I see the growth," Stefanski said to Petrak in a post-practice media scrum. "Shedeur has been incredible in his work ethic, his poise, his command. But there's more to this lead than a good arm. Timing, pressure, reads. He's still adjusting to NFL speed." Pressed on whether Sanders had a chance to start in Week 1, Stefanski gave a diplomatic smile. "We're going to do what's best for the team, and what's best for Shedeur's long-term success." Translation: not yet. Chapter 4. The practice that changed everything. It was the second week of June, a Tuesday practice open to media. The crowd wasn't massive, but for those there, including Petrak, it felt historic. Shedeur took first-team reps due to a last-minute tweak in Flacco's shoulder. What followed was a masterclass. Threaded needles across the middle, a 45-yard dime that dropped into Cedric Tillman's hands in stride. A 2-minute drill that ended with a perfectly placed-out route for a touchdown with 4 seconds left. The defense wasn't taking it easy. Myles Garrett came within inches of tapping him down, but Sanders stood tall, made the read, made the play. Petrak wrote that night, "If this were September and not June, the 2B1 conversation might be very different." Chapter 5. The learning curve. But the NFL doesn't hand out ribbons for pretty practices. The next week, Shedeur threw 2 picks in a single 11-on-11 set. One a misread against a disguised coverage, the other a classic rookie mistake, staring down the receiver. Stefanski quietly pulled him aside, put a hand on his shoulder, and spoke calmly. "This is where it starts. You either panic or you learn."